Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a story that highlights the stark contrast between wealth and poverty in Africa. Africa is a continent full of vibrancy, diversity, and complexity. Part of that complexity is the glaring gap between the haves and the have-nots. We'll explore some of the richest towns across different African countries and discuss how the spirit of Ubuntu, that beautiful idea of shared humanity, has been lost in these communities. Buckle up, because we're about to take a trip through the heart of inequality. Let's kick things off in Johannesburg, South Africa, the city of gold. This vibrant metropolis is a beacon of economic growth and opportunity, drawing people from all over the country and beyond. Jozi, as the locals call it, is known for its booming economy, skyscrapers, and affluent suburbs. The city is a hub of commerce and industry, with a skyline that rivals some of the world's most famous cities. But just a stone's throw away, you'll find Soweto, a township where poverty and hardship are a daily reality. The contrast between these two areas is stark and undeniable. In Soweto, the streets are dusty, the houses are often makeshift shacks, and access to basic services like clean water and electricity is a constant struggle. It's a place where resilience and community spirit are essential for survival. It's a stark reminder that the wealth of Johannesburg hasn't quite trickled down to everyone. The economic divide is as visible as the physical distance between these two areas. It's like someone built a luxury penthouse on top of a crumbling foundation. The opulence of Johannesburg's affluent areas stands in sharp contrast to the dilapidation of Soweto. There's a disconnect, a chasm of inequality that's hard to ignore. The city is divided not just by wealth but by opportunity and access to resources. It's like two different worlds coexisting within the same city limits. The disparity is a daily reminder of the challenges that still need to be addressed. And that, my friends, is where the spirit of Ubuntu seems to have gotten lost. The sense of community and shared humanity that once defined this region is fading. Ubuntu is this beautiful African philosophy that emphasizes our interconnectedness, the idea that I am because we are. It's a principle that has guided communities for generations. It's about community, compassion, and recognizing the humanity in everyone, regardless of their social standing. It's a call to see beyond our differences and to support one another. But somewhere along the way, in the pursuit of progress and prosperity, that sense of shared humanity seems to have faded. The focus has shifted to individual success rather than collective well-being. In Johannesburg's wealthy suburbs, you'll find manicured lawns, sparkling swimming pools, and kids driving around in cars that probably cost more than most people's houses in Soweto. The lifestyle here is one of comfort and excess. Meanwhile in Soweto, children are playing in the streets, fetching water from communal taps, and dreaming of a future that seems just out of reach. Their aspirations are often limited by their circumstances. The disparity extends to opportunities, to access to education, healthcare, and even just a chance at a better life. The resources available in Johannesburg are a world apart from those in Soweto. And the gap between the rich and the poor just keeps getting wider. It's a challenge that requires urgent attention and a collective effort to bridge. Let's shift gears and head over to Lagos, Nigeria, the heartbeat of West Africa, a city that never sleeps. Known for its vibrant culture, bustling markets, and dynamic nightlife, Lagos is a city of contrasts. But even in this vibrant metropolis, the gap between the rich and the poor is impossible to ignore. The stark contrast between opulence and poverty is visible at every turn. On one hand, you have Victoria Island, the Manhattan of Lagos, a symbol of wealth and modernity. It's home to gleaming skyscrapers, luxury apartments, and some of the most expensive real estate in Africa. The skyline is a testament to the economic potential of the city. You'll find fancy restaurants, designer boutiques, and nightclubs that pulsate with the energy of Lagos's elite. It's a playground for the rich and famous, but just a short boat ride away, you'll find Makoko, a sprawling slum built on stilts over the Lagos Lagoon. It's a world away from the luxury of Victoria Island. Here, life is a different story altogether. The daily grind is a struggle for survival. Homes are made of corrugated iron sheets and wooden planks, sanitation is poor, and access to basic services is a daily struggle. The living conditions are harsh and unforgiving. It's like stepping into another dimension, where the glitz and glamour of Victoria Island feel like a distant dream. The disparity is jarring and heart-wrenching. Lagos is one of the fastest-growing economies in Africa, yet a significant portion of its population lives in abject poverty. The economic boom hasn't trickled down to everyone. The wealth generated in places like Victoria Island doesn't seem to reach the shores of Makoko. The economic disparity is a glaring issue, and this lack of resource distribution has a devastating impact on the daily lives of millions of Lagosians. The struggle for basic necessities is a constant battle. Imagine for a moment that you're a parent living in Makoko. The challenges are immense and unrelenting. You want your children to have a better life, to break free from the cycle of poverty. But opportunities are scarce. But how do you provide them with opportunities when you're struggling to put food on the table? The daily grind leaves little room for hope. Education, which should be a right, becomes a luxury that many can't afford. The future seems uncertain. Healthcare is often inaccessible or of poor quality. The lack of medical facilities exacerbates the struggles. And the dream of a brighter future seems to fade with each passing day. Yet amidst the struggle there is a glimmer of hope and resilience in the people of Makoko. Chapter 3. Nairobi, A Tale of Two Neighborhoods. Let's journey now to Nairobi, Kenya, a city that embodies the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. They call it Silicon Savannah for a reason. But even in this hub of progress, the gap between the rich and the poor is impossible to ignore. On one hand you have Karen, a leafy suburb named after the famous author Karen Blixen. It's a place of sprawling mansions, manicured gardens, and a sense of tranquility. But just a stone's throw away you'll find Kibera, one of the largest slums in Africa. Here, life is a constant struggle for survival. Homes are made of corrugated iron sheets, sanitation is poor, and access to basic services is a daily challenge. It's a stark reminder that the benefits of Nairobi's economic growth haven't reached everyone. It's like having a feast in one room while people are starving in the next. In Karen, children attend private schools with state-of-the-art facilities, highly qualified teachers, and a curriculum that prepares them for the best universities in the world. Meanwhile, in Kibera, schools are overcrowded, underfunded, and lacking in basic resources. It's a similar story when it comes to healthcare. In Karen, residents have access to private hospitals with the latest medical equipment and highly trained doctors. But in Kibera, healthcare facilities are often overcrowded, understaffed, and lacking in essential medicines. Chapter 4. Cairo, a city haunted by history and inequality. Our next stop takes us to Cairo, Egypt, a city that straddles the ancient and the modern. But even in this city of wonders, the gap between the rich and the poor is impossible to ignore. On one hand, you have Zamalek, an affluent island in the middle of the Nile River. It's a place where you'll find expats sipping lattes in sidewalk cafes, art galleries, and a sense of cosmopolitanism. But just across the bridge you'll find Manshiat Nazar, a neighborhood that's home to Cairo's garbage collectors, known as the Zabaleen. Here, life is a world away from the glamour of Zamalek. The streets are narrow and winding, often filled with piles of garbage waiting to be sorted. Homes are makeshift, built from whatever materials the Zabaleen can scavenge, and the air is thick with the stench of rotting garbage. It's a stark reminder that the wealth of Cairo hasn't trickled down to everyone. It's like two different cities existing side by side, separated by a bridge and a chasm of inequality, and this divide is rooted in history as much as it is in economics. Chapter 5. Accra, the fading spirit of Ubuntu. Our final stop takes us to Accra, Ghana, a city that pulsates with energy, vibrancy, and a unique blend of tradition and modernity. But even in this city of warmth and hospitality, the gap between the rich and the poor is impossible to ignore. The stark contrasts are visible everywhere you look. On one hand you have East Legon, a neighborhood that epitomizes Accra's aspirations for modernity and affluence. It's a symbol of the city's rapid development. It's a place of sprawling mansions, gated communities, and luxury apartments. The architecture here speaks of ambition and success. You'll find residents driving the latest SUVs, shopping in upscale boutiques, and dining in restaurants that serve up a fusion of international cuisine. It's a lifestyle many aspire to. It's a world of privilege and comfort, where the worries of daily survival seem distant. But just a short drive from this oasis of affluence, you'll find Nima, a neighborhood that represents the other side of Accra's story. It's a stark contrast to the opulence of East Legon. Here, life is a world away from the glamour of East Legon. The daily hustle and bustle paint a different picture. The streets are narrow and crowded, often filled with vendors selling everything from fruits and vegetables to used clothing and electronics. It's a vibrant yet challenging environment. Homes are modest, often made of concrete blocks or corrugated iron sheets. The living conditions here are a testament to resilience and resourcefulness, and the air is thick with the sounds of life. Children playing, music blaring, and the constant hum of activity. It's a community that thrives on its spirit and togetherness. It's a stark reminder that the benefits of Accra's economic growth haven't reached everyone. The disparity is glaring and ever-present. It's like two different worlds existing side by side, separated by a highway and a chasm of inequality. The divide is both physical and metaphorical, and this divide is particularly disheartening in a country that prides itself on its spirit of Ubuntu. The sense of community and shared humanity feels strained. Ubuntu is that beautiful African philosophy that emphasizes our interconnectedness, the idea that I am because we are. It's a principle that has guided communities for generations. But somewhere along the way, in the pursuit of progress and prosperity, that sense of shared humanity seems to have faded. The rapid development has come at a cost. The gap between the rich and the poor has widened, and with it, a sense of disconnect has emerged. The challenge now is to bridge this divide and rekindle the spirit of Ubuntu. Outrow rekindling the spirit of Ubuntu. Thank you for watching and being part of this journey. It's crucial to remember the spirit of Ubuntu and work towards a future where everyone can thrive and live in harmony. The stories we've explored today are just a glimpse into the complex reality of inequality in Africa, a continent of contrasts. But they serve as a powerful reminder that true progress cannot be achieved unless we bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, uniting as one. Let's strive to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of where they come from or their background.